Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into a heated moment inside South Africa's parliament that has sparked serious debate across the country. At the center of the storm are President Cyril Ramaphosa and opposition leader Julius Malema, who clashed over corruption, government spending, and the future of public sector jobs. This parliamentary session has raised uncomfortable questions about where hundreds of billions of rand have gone and whether the government is doing enough to protect public money. Let's unpack what really happened. South Africa's parliament recently witnessed a tense exchange as opposition parties confronted President Cyril Ramaphosa over the transparency of the national budget and the ongoing crisis in public services. The debate became especially intense when Julius Malema, leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, took the floor to challenge the president with findings from the country's top financial watchdog, the Auditor General of South Africa. According to the latest audit reports, approximately 406 billion rand has been lost through corruption, irregular spending, and financial mismanagement across various government departments and state institutions. That staggering number immediately triggered outrage. Malema argued that this massive loss of public money is not just a financial problem, it is directly responsible for the collapse of key public services. He pointed specifically to the healthcare system, where many hospitals struggle with staff shortages, broken equipment, and long waiting times. According to Malema, South Africa does not lack skilled doctors, nurses, or medical professionals. What the country lacks, he said, is honest financial management. He suggested that if even a portion of the lost 406 billion rand had been properly used, hospitals could have been upgraded, clinics could have been expanded, and millions of South Africans could have received better health care. This criticism comes at a time when South Africa is already facing intense debates over the implementation of the country's ambitious healthcare reform program, the National Health Insurance. Supporters of the policy argue it will bring universal healthcare to millions, while critics say the government must first fix corruption and inefficiency before expanding the system. But the debate in Parliament did not stop at healthcare. Malema also turned his attention to a long-standing issue in the public sector, the use of labor brokers and temporary contract workers in government departments. For years, many government services such as cleaning, security, and maintenance have been outsourced to private companies that hire workers on short-term contracts. These workers often earn lower wages, have limited job security, and receive fewer benefits than permanent employees. Malema pushed President Ramaphosa to support a new bill that would effectively end the use of labor brokers in government and instead bring thousands of these contract workers directly into permanent government positions. This proposal, known as the insourcing policy, has been strongly supported by labor activists and some political groups who argue that it would provide job stability for workers and improve accountability within government departments. Supporters believe that workers who are permanently employed by the state are more likely to be committed to their jobs and the long-term success of public institutions. They also argue that the current outsourcing system has created opportunities for corruption, where politically connected companies win government contracts while workers remain underpaid. However, critics warn that insourcing could place a massive financial burden on the national budget. And that is exactly where President Ramaphosa's response came in. When responding to the challenge, Ramaphosa acknowledged that irregular expenditure and corruption remain serious concerns for his administration. He agreed that the government must continue strengthening financial oversight and accountability across departments. But the president stopped short of immediately supporting the proposed insourcing legislation. Instead, he urged caution. Ramaphosa explained that while the goal of creating stable jobs is important, the government must first conduct a full analysis of the financial and operational consequences of bringing thousands of workers onto the public payroll. He warned that any major employment reform must be carefully planned to ensure it does not place additional strain on the country's already pressured national treasury. South Africa is currently dealing with high public debt, slow economic growth, and rising unemployment. In this context, the government says it must balance social demands with fiscal sustainability. Still, The exchange between Ramaphosa and Malema has sparked intense reactions both inside parliament and among the public. Some political analysts say the debate reflects a deeper struggle over how South Africa should rebuild trust in government institutions after years of corruption scandals. The issue of corruption has haunted the country for over a decade, especially following the revelations from the Zondo Commission, which exposed widespread abuse of state resources during the era commonly referred to as state capture. Those investigations revealed how billions of rand were siphoned from public institutions through corrupt contracts, fraudulent tenders, and political interference. Now, with the Auditor General estimating that 406 billion rand has been lost through irregular spending, the pressure on the government to act decisively is growing stronger. Many South Africans are asking difficult questions. How did such a massive amount of money disappear? Who is being held accountable? And what changes will actually prevent this from happening again? Political observers also note that the relationship between Ramaphosa and Malema has always been complicated. Although they often clash fiercely in parliament, there have been moments where their positions appear surprisingly aligned, particularly on issues such as labor rights and economic transformation. Some commentators have even described their occasional cooperation as a political bromance, especially when both leaders support policies that aim to expand social protections for workers. But despite these moments of agreement, the two leaders remain rivals with very different political strategies. Ramaphosa's approach tends to emphasize gradual reform, fiscal discipline, and careful policy planning. Malema, on the other hand, is known for pushing more radical and immediate changes, arguing that South Africa cannot afford to move slowly while millions of citizens continue to struggle with unemployment and poverty. As Parliament prepares for further debates on labor policy, healthcare reform, and financial accountability, the key question remains whether the government will adopt bold legislative changes or continue with a more cautious, step-by-step approach. One thing is certain, with 406 billion rand at stake, public pressure is only going to increase. South Africans are watching closely to see whether their leaders will finally close the loopholes that allow corruption and wasteful spending to drain national resources. And if these issues are not addressed quickly, the political consequences could be significant as the country moves closer to future elections. For now, the debate in Parliament has made one thing very clear: the battle over how to fix South Africa's economy and public institutions is far from over. What do you think about this situation? Do you believe the government should immediately insource contract workers, or should it first stabilize the national budget before making such a big move? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this video informative, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss